The Patriots -5.5. That's our number. I think it may have moved up to 6.5 on Caesars. I know I saw 6.5 on my local. I love the Patriots this week. They are hosting the Tennessee Titans -5.5. The over under 45.5. Mac Jones in his first 6 weeks of the season, 2-4 record. Yep, moved to 6.5 as you can see there. He was attempting 35.2 passes per game in the first 6 weeks, completing 71% of them, and 245 yards per game, 7 yards per attempt, but 7 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. The last 5 weeks, the Patriots have tried to take stuff off of Mac's plate and minimize the number of times he's throwing. He's down to 27.6 attempts per game, 68.8% completion, just 213 yards, but 7.7 yards per attempt, 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in that stretch. The Patriots are 5-0. I think what we have here is very clearly a case of the Patriots sort of identifying what they want to be on offense, and their offensive identity is pounding the football, creative in the run game, Mac Jones converting in big spots, being efficient, not making mistakes, not turning the ball over. He has responded in a big way. I think maybe the competition's been a little bit easier too, but New England is rolling right now, and I understand that the Titans Titans are Jekyll and Hyde. They beat good teams. I think 7-0 against teams with or teams who would currently be in the playoffs, and then they lost to the Texans and the Jets, so it's really weird. And Mike Vrabel, undefeated against Bill Belichick in his coaching career. I don't care. Belichick is cooking right now. The Pats know who they are. They know what they want to be. They know how they want to attack you, and they are playing some really good defense. The Titans have no rush attack really at the moment, and I think New England turns this into a one-dimensional team. And when you do that against Tennessee, they're going to have to funnel everything through A.J. Brown, right? And everything, like Belichick's going to take away A.J. Brown. He's just going to put 2 dudes on A.J. Brown and force Ryan Tannehill to beat him with like Keeney Westbrook and Chester Rogers and other players that they don't need. Plus, Jonnu Smith revenge game. R.J., what you think?
Gotta love the revenge games. Like you can't get through a segment without a revenge game. So you have this as Patriots as a best bet. Pete has it as Titans as a best bet. We're grading it at 5.5. So when it lands on 6, Pete can't go, well, it was 6.5. And you're like, no, like it's 6. Right. Brinson wins that one. It's going up, and you can see why. If he gets a 7, I kind of like Tennessee, and I'd be on the Pete side. Tennessee was due to be exposed, but you're not going to have 5 turnovers very often, and they actually pretty much outplayed Houston. All facets of the game in that one, except for the turnovers. And Houston had 190 yards of offense. They had 3 scoring drives with that totaled 1 yard. So it's not like they had to do much to get those points. I don't see a beat up Tennessee offense scoring points, but I think the defense is playing well. They played well against Houston, and I think they can play well against Mac Jones to keep this close. You say they're taking stuff off his plate. He doesn't have to do much. I mean, in the second half, he doesn't have to do anything if they're up, double digits every single game. So that's part of why he's not throwing is he doesn't have to. The second half, they're just way ahead of these teams. Maybe they'll be like that against the Titans because that offense might be a little train wrecky here. But I think the defense can have a good game here. I think New England is definitely legit at this point. I'm not saying that they're overrated by any means, but it feels like a rock fight, low-scoring rock fight. They win by 4 to me, not a blowout game. So line looking up, like I said, I'll play it if Tennessee hits a 7 because I think that 2 good defenses, that there's some value playing against that big a number.
And for what it's worth, I agree completely with your point about Mac Jones. The Patriots have been thrashing teams, so he hadn't had to do a whole lot in the second half. And it is annoying to I was going to love the Patriots. I didn't want the Titans to lose to the Texans because I wanted to love the Patriots in the spot. And, it sort of, shell shocks them. Maybe they come back just like they did after the Jets lost and Realism wins, albeit no Derrick Henry now. And then the other thing is the line moved, 3.5 points from the look at it. It was Pats -3 before. I don't like, losing that kind of value and taking the Pats -5.5, but I don't care. I just believe in this Pats team, and they know 2 games before their bye, Titans and Bills. Bill Belichick's just trying to go 1-0 each week, and I know that's like stupid, coach speak or whatever, but I think he's got this team in a spot where they know how important this game is for the conference, and they know how important next week is for the division, and just take it 1 game at a time. I think they'll come out looking quite sharp.
So the Titans don't know that, right? They don't know.
Titans do not know that. That's correct. Titans are unaware of it.
Interesting.
If you're
they should get a new coach then.
What's that?
They should get a new coach then. If they're not aware how big this game is.
Don't. Hopefully, they're not listening to this podcast on Friday. They drive home from their family, whatever they do with their families over Thanksgiving, whatever people in Nashville eat. I guess you eat hot chicken. What do you think?
Yeah, it's got to be hot chicken. I want to apologize too. I didn't have the Johnny Smith revenge game in my notes. I didn't think it warranted mentioning because I didn't think it was that big, but apparently you do. So I should have mentioned it.
Always mention revenge. Belichick revenge game against Vrabel. It's who knocked Tom Brady, ended Tom Brady's the dynasty. He ended the dynasty.
Don't the Patriots have or don't the Titans have a practice squatter that played for the Patriots at one time that we can call it a revenge game for him too, and we can cancel it out?
I'm pretty sure there are a lot of players on the Titans who played for the Patriots. The same thing. It's like the Panthers in Washington and Buffalo. It's just all over the place.